The Boston Bruins enter the 2025-26 NHL season at a crossroads. The ghost of Bergeron and Marchand's prime years are still fresh, but the core is shifting. The bench boss is brand new, and the Atlantic Division has never been more cutthroat. This is not a team in a rebuild mode, but it's not exactly the same well-oiled machine we saw dominant in years past either. So the question is, how do the Bruins not just survive this season, but actually thrive and make a real push for the cup? They probably can't, but they can try. Today, we're counting down the 10 things the 2025-26 Boston Bruins absolutely must do to succeed. And we're backing it up with lessons from Bruins history to show why each step matters. So buckle up, Bruins fans. I'm here to give you the latest info on your beloved Boston Bruins. If you've been liking my Bruins content, please leave me a like and subscribe. If you've already done so, thank you, and let's get into it. Number 10, they need to build on offseason momentum. The Bruins' 2025 offseason wasn't quiet. They drafted high, signed some depth pieces like Henry Yukihiru and John Beecher, and added Victor Arvidsson for hopefully some extra offensive punch, and continue shaping the roster with both short-term and long-term moves. Yes, I obviously left out the one that I don't really want to talk about. But the offseason energy can vanish fast and the team stumbles out of the gate. The Bruins need to carry that momentum directly into training camp, setting the tone from day one. That means intense scrimmages, real roster battles, and no ease into it mentality in October. Last year at the beginning of the season, the Bruins fell flat on their face right out of the gate. They had injuries, but man, they played terrible right away. They just couldn't get going, and they need to have a very good start. Think back to the 2010-2011 season, the year Boston won the Stanley Cup. That season's success didn't start in April. It started the previous summer when the team traded for Nathan Horton and drafted Tyler Seguin, and they signed the right supporting pieces. Confidence was built before the first puck drop, and it carried all year. The 2025-26 Bruins have a chance to create the same wave, but it requires urgency from game one. If they start hot, they can ride the momentum for months. Number 9, they need to foster real leadership without a captain. The Boston Bruins entered the season without an official captain. That's not automatically a problem. Some teams thrive with leadership groups instead of just a single voice. But it does mean someone has to be the heartbeat of the room. In this case, that needs to be David Pastrnak and Charlie McAvoy. They're the ones who can set the tone in practices, speak up in meetings, and hold teammates accountable during slumps. The 2006-2007 Bruins lived through the opposite scenario. After trading Joe Thornton and before Zdeno Chara fully established himself as captain, there was no consistent voice leading the team. The result? Inconsistency, late game collapses, and general sense of drift. The lesson for the 2025-26 is simple. Leadership isn't about a letter on the jersey. It's about stepping up every single day and making sure standards never drop. Number 8, strategic roster moves and cap management. The Bruins salary cap situation is tight, but manageable. Currently sitting with just over $2 million in cap space, Don Sweeney's depth signings this summer, besides, well, you know what? I got a cheer for Tanner Jeannot now. He's a Bruin. I got to get over it. We're somewhat smart. Low-cost moves for the most part. They did give one player term, but not a large cap hit considering how much the cap will be going up over the next couple years. If the Bruins are serious about making a deep playoff run, they might need more high-impact pieces. This could come at the trade deadline, and it doesn't have to be a superstar like Connor McDavid, despite those juicy rumors that are not true. What it does have to be is the perfect stylistic fit. Someone who could slide in the top 6 or top 4 and make an immediate difference without wrecking the cap sheet. As the season progresses, teams will start to sell off if they know they won't be signing a potential UFA or if they're at the playoff hunt. The Bruins have to be smart. The 2010 Bruins mastered this balance. They didn't go on a reckless spending spree, but they did add Nathan Horton, a move that proved pivotal to the 2011 Cup run. They kept long-term picture in mind while adding exactly what the roster needed in the short term. That's the kind of disciplined aggression Boston needs again this year. Number 7, infuse youthful talent and reload the prospect pipeline. Boston's prospect pool has been criticized in the past. For good reason, but there's a real hope now. Fabian Lysell, Fraser Minton, and Mason Lohrei all are knocking on the door, and top picks James Higgins is waiting in the wings. This season can't just be about plugging these guys in during injury crisis. They need to be given meaningful roles and the confidence to grow into them. That means pairing rookies with strong veterans, mentoring them, letting them contribute to the team's identity. The 2016-17 Bruins did this perfectly with Brandon Carlo, Charlie McAvoy, and Danton Heinen. Those young players didn't just survive, they added speed, energy, and fresh legs to a team that badly needed them. The same injection of youth could help the 2025-26 Bruins in exactly the same way. Number 6, tighten defensive structures in key areas. Defensively, the Bruins were fine last year, but their own historic standards, they were leaky, especially in the slot. Too many high-danger chances against meant they were relying too often on their goaltenders to bail them out. Unfortunately, neither goaltender was able to do that last year. The goalies looked overwhelmed half the time last year. Too much shot generations, too many high-danger chances. They look terrible. This season, the defensive mantra should be protect the house. Keep the slot clear, maintain strong gap control at the blue line, and make sure opponents have to fight for every inch on the ice in the offensive zone. The 2019-2020 Bruins excelled at this, leading the NHLs in goals against by forcing most opponents' shots to come from the outside. Even with a younger McAvoy and Carlo, the system protected them and made Tuukka Rask's job easier. Marco Sturm has the personnel to do it again. This challenge is making it a nightly habit. Number 5, improve high-danger offensive and overall puck possession. Last season, too many of Boston's shots came from the perimeter, and they often lost possession battles against top-tier teams. High-danger scoring isn't just about effort. It's about puck movement, speed, and putting bodies in front of the net. Boston needs to be more control zone entries, more aggressive defenseman involvement, and more willingness from forwards to drive into the dirty areas. The 2013-14 Bruins, a President's Trophy team, rolled 4 lines that could all generate quality chances. They didn't rely on one line to score, and their possession game wore down opponents. The 2025-26 Bruins don't have to be as dominant, but they do need every line to be a threat if they want to keep with the NHL's best. If they're going to only rely on the Lindholm geeky Pasternak line, this team is in a lot of trouble. Number 4, beat the drop in power play creativity. The Bruins power play used to be one of the league's most dangerous weapons. Last season, it became predictable. Everything funneled to Pasternak for one-timers. This year, they need to mix in new point men, change up entries, and more net front chaos, and create dual shooting threats to keep penalty killers guessing. Maybe give Geeky more looks instead of having Pasternak maybe off the sidewall. They've got to figure something out. Losing Lindholm early in the season killed their movement from the back end, and they will need a healthy blue line to have any success on the power play. The 2018-2019 Bruins had a lethal power play because every player on the unit was a threat. Bergeron in the bumper, Marchand on the half wall, Krug at the point. Opponents couldn't key on one guy. Even without those exact personnel, the concept still works. Movement and unpredictability are the key. Number 3, keep key players healthy and available. It doesn't matter how good the system is if your stars aren't on the ice. Injuries derailed last season's for the Boston Bruins, especially on defense. This year, the team must take proactive approaches. Manage minutes, rotate bottom 6 wingers, and avoid overworking players returning from injury. Sports science, load management, and reliable depth aren't luxuries. They're necessities. A player like McAvoy needs to play a full season and not be consistently injured and not playing. The Bruins need to figure out how to solve this issue and maybe use some sort of load management for McAvoy. The 2014-15 Bruins learned this the hard way. Key injuries combined with overplaying returning stars left the team exhausted by March. They missed the playoffs by just 2 points. The 2025-26 Bruins can't let that happen, especially in a tighter Atlantic division. The Montreal Canadiens are going to be no pushover this year, and you've still got the Titans over in Florida and Tampa and Florida themselves, and the Toronto Maple Leafs. Number 2, let Marco Sturm shape the team culture. Marco Sturm's hiring might be the biggest change this offseason. Known for his communication skills and structured approach, Sturm has a chance to reset the Bruins culture, giving every player a clear role, demanding accountability, and creating consistent habits in both practice and games. In 2007-2008, Claude Julien took over a team coming off chaos and led them to a 94-point season and a playoff berth. The turnaround came from buying into a clear system. Sturm can spark a similar shift if management gives him the freedom to coach his way. And number 1, embrace a clear identity from the top to the bottom. The biggest keys to the Bruins' success isn't a single player or a single system tweak. It's knowing exactly who they are as a team. Last year, Boston sometimes looked like they were trying to be too many things at once. This year, they need to pick up an identity and live it every night, win or lose. The 2010-2011 Bruins had this down to a science. Relentless physical discipline hockey with elite goaltending. They didn't waver even when things got rough. The 2025-26 Bruins may not have the exact same makeup, but the principles still apply. When you know who you are, you play faster, more confidently, and more consistently. So there you have it. The 10 things the 2025-26 Bruins must do to succeed, backed up by real lessons from their own history. The question now is, will they? Will they start fast, protect the house, and find the clear identity that's been missing? Or Will they be another good but not great Bruins team that fades when the game matters the most? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I want to know which of these 10 you think is the biggest key for the Bruins this year. That's a wrap on today's video. To stay up to date on all the news surrounding the Boston Bruins, please subscribe and drop me a like. If news breaks surrounding the Boston Bruins, be sure to check out the channel. If you've already subscribed to the channel, thank you. And I'll see you next time.